All right, we'll be bringing you all the play-by-play action of tonight's game. I'm down on the sideline with Coach McFarland. Coach, this week, I know by Tuesday, Jackson had sold their 600 tickets. They're wanted more. They got more. It's going to be a big crowd on both sides of the field. Do you think the crowd will affect the game in any way tonight?
Oh, I don't know, John. You know, it's nice to have all these people here. You know, this is what high school football is all about, and I think the kids play a little harder and put a little more effort into it when there's a crowd like there is. And, you know, this game's been anticipated for a year. Both football teams are looking for playoff possibilities, and, you know, even though it's so early in the year, whoever wins this football game is probably going to get a lot of points. So, you know, that makes it a big ball game. It's great. Years ago, we didn't have this, and it adds a little incentive to the whole situation early in the year. And Jackson, you know, is a very formidable opponent, as you know. Last year we went over there and felt we should have won the ball game and didn't. And I think maybe this is probably their best football team.
Coach, this has been played up by the media a little bit, the printed press, as maybe a forerunner of 1988 when Wooster does join the Federal League. Jackson is already a Federal League team. What do you reply to a question or a comment like that?
Well, we're not worried about the Federal League tonight, John. We're concerned with this football game. We've got the Cardinal Conference this year to worry about, and I guess that's fans talk. The kids haven't thought about it, and I really haven't either. Next year we won't be going into it in football yet, so we've got 2 years to worry about it and think about it a little bit. So, you know, my comment is that, you know, now's now and the future's the future.
Let it take care of itself.
That's right. We're worried about this ball game tonight and what it's going to do for our football team this year.
Coach, I know on Thursday night on Coach's Corner we talked a little bit about the return of many of the skilled players for Jackson. Could you just maybe repeat 1 or 2 or 3 of the players that you feel that we should be looking for tonight from Jackson High School?
Yeah, we're probably going to see one of the premier quarterbacks in the whole area. They feel over around the Canton area, and that includes a lot of good football teams, that their quarterback may be the best one there in that whole area. So, you know, that's a real challenge for us, too. He not only runs the ball well, but he throws it, and he's very poised. He's a 3-year starter. Also, they've got an excellent tailback by the name of Hedricks. And also, they've got 2 excellent wideouts. So their skill positions are in real good shape. The only question they had coming into the year was their offensive line was awful young. They've got a sophomore starting at the 1 guard. But they've proved that they can play. So, you know, they're a well-rounded football team. You know, they can run the ball and they can pass it. So, you know, it's going to be a real challenge for our defense.
Well, Coach, I know you want to get back with the players. We certainly wish you the very best of luck tonight and in beating Jackson.
Thank you, John.
Thank you for tuning in this pregame. We're going to be right back in just a second with the pregame by the band, but right now we'll take a break.
Cable subscribe.
Here are the starting lineups for tonight's game. For the Wooster Generals, the defensive unit. At defensive tackle, number 78, senior co-captain Mike McLean. At defensive tackle, number 53, senior Andy Seifert. At defensive end, number 57, senior Steve Cooper. At defensive end, number 59, senior Brian Finicum. At linebacker, number 60, senior co-captain Doug Glasgow. At linebacker, number 18, senior Matt Smith. At linebacker, number 25, senior Matt Cotton. At defensive back, number 44, senior John Hayes. At defensive back, number 21, senior Brad Warner. At safety, number 10, number 90, senior Mitch Sleek. At safety, number 11, senior co-captain John Murphy. Coach Gary Green and the rest of the Wooster Generals. The Generals are coached by Mr. Bob McFarland. For the Jackson Polar Bears, coached by Mr. Rick Campbell. The offensive unit at center, number 63, senior Craig Holmes.
It couldn't be better. It's probably about 60 to 65 degrees, clear skies, and the field's in excellent condition for the game tonight.
Thank you, John. It certainly is a beautiful night for football, and tonight we have two of the undefeated Giants of our area going to do battle here at Mauer Field. I think Jackson is probably, size-wise, will compare to Wooster better than any other team that Worcester is going to face this year. They've had two good games already. They've already defeated Cleveland Collingwood 28-12, and last week they had a very excellent game against Perry and defeated them 34-6. Now Perry is another one of the big teams in the Federal League. The people we want to watch tonight, naturally, the big man is always going to be the quarterback, and that's who we all look for. And that's number 14, Matt Marshall. He's their leader. He's a senior. He's been there before, so he knows what he's doing. He's also going to be playing safety on defense. With Matt Marshall, we've got two good receivers. We've got Andy Benson, number 88, and number 16, Dirk Blood. The running attack is going to be led by the fullback, Tom Keefus, and number 5, Mark Hedrick. Keefus' number, by the way, is number 32, and we'll see a lot of these two. We're getting ready to kick off, so we'll come back some more of this later on here.
Okay, Tony, we're matching strength against strength. Worcester defense will be on the field first against that Polar Bear offense. The Generals on the right of your screen in navy blue jerseys and pants with the white helmets. And the Jackson Polar Bears, white tops, gold pants and helmets. There's the whistle, and there is the kick. It's a good kick. It is going to be taken on the 5, back to the 10, 15, 20, right up the middle, and a breakaway out to the 40-yard line. John Murphy, number 11, made that stop. The ball just over the 40-yard line for the Polar Bears.
And that was a good 35-yard run back, John, and he came right up the middle.
Right up the gut.
His blockers really opened a hole in there for him.
So as we mentioned, number 14, the senior quarterback, Matt Marshall, is the man to watch. I-backs behind him. Double flanker to the top of your screen. Worcester in a 4-4. Here's the man in motion. That's Blood. First play is a dive up the middle. Worcester defense is ready for the challenge. That's number 60, Doug Glasgow. The ball carrier was number 32, which is Tom Keefus, the fullback. So Jackson kind of warming up on that play, just giving everybody a chance to get their assignments, taking that first hit, Tony.
I think everybody has a jitters till that first place in scrimmage or until you get your first tackle or a good block.
Tony, I've got him, and I'm up here. Second down and 9 for the Polar Bears. Again, the I-backs behind Marshall. This time again to the fullback, Keefus. Not much doing.
And he got nothing at all. I think Coach McFarland said it in your pregame interview, John, the team that wins this ball game is going to take a giant step toward the playoffs.
Yes. I had number 59, which would be Brian Finnecum in on that tackle. Third and a long 8, possibly still 9. Worcester looking for a pass, and they're going to have it. Marshall is tackled on a beautiful tackle by McLean. Oh, super play, Tony.
Number 78 for the Generals. Mike McLean, he stayed right there.
It looked for a second. They had Cooper blocked to the outside, and Marshall cut inside, but McLean got him by the ankles, brought him down home. And number 16, Blood, will be kicking. Murphy in single safety tonight. Worcester putting on a good rush. They blocked the punt, partially blocked it. So Worcester should end up with great field position.
36-yard line.
Tony, I don't know who might have blocked that. This is one of those times when I wish we did have instant replay to see who got their hands on that ball.
They had a full rush on that time. That's why we had John Murphy back on the solo in safety position.
We're going to break briefly, and then we'll be right back to the action.
They're serious about quality, and you should be too. At Mott's Decorating, they want happy and satisfied customers, and that's why they're serious about quality. There are no gimmicks, no giveaways, just honest savings every day of the year at Mott's Decorating. 4188 Cleveland Road, Worcester. Phone 345-6018. For paint, carpet, wall covering, ceramic, vinyls, and more. One-stop decorating at Mott's Decorating on Cleveland Road, Worcester. After the big game or for your next party or get-together, stop by Dino's Drive-Thru to pick up your favorite potato chips, candy bars, or other snacks. Dino's Drive-Thru has a large selection of everything you need to make your next party a big hit. With 2 convenient locations at the foot of Bell Avenue and on Lincoln Way east of Worcester, it's Dino's Drive-Thru. Make sure you put Dino's on your next party list.
Matt McCoy, junior quarterback with the eye backs, Birdno and Tony Lee behind him. Murphy in motion on the first play. Tony Lee, the ball carrier, and he was hit right at the line of scrimmage. Might have gotten a yard. On the bottom of the pile is number 61, and that is Kevin Bryan for the Polar Bears. Well, now when they mark the ball, they give Tony some pretty good forward progress. They give him almost 2 yards. Call it 2nd and 8. John Hayes, number 44, is in with the play for the Generals. He'll probably rotate tonight with number 90, Mitch Sleek. Murphy to the bottom of your screen, Hayes to the top, split wide. Matt McCoy back to pass, throws it over the middle of Murphy, complete. Up at the 48-yard line. And it's Dirk Blood, 16, with the tackle. That kind of diversity in the offense will keep the Polar Bear defense honest, Tony.
It certainly will. I was glad to see Coach McFarland do that. I think it's going to make Jackson play the defense honest, John.
Very important. That was enough for the first down. As I mentioned, it's up around the Generals' 48-yard line. This time it's Birdno up the middle. He crosses field. Pickup of about 3.
Gets to midfield. John Snyder on the stop for the Polar Bears.
Worcester
waiting on the play. John Hayes
John,
coming in
this
with it.
is a change from the 2 previous games. We've had 3 plays, and each one was different. The first 2 games, we had Tony Lee run the ball 3 times.
Yes, Coach McFarland mixing it up tonight. Going to keep those Polar Bears honest. 2nd and 7. Again, McCoy to the air, looking, throws it over the middle. Incomplete. Matt Smith would have had to make a nice catch. Good coverage there by number 45. That's Bill Peel for the Polar Bears. Pass by McCoy, just a shade low. Matt went
low,
down
but
on his
I
knees.
think it was catchable, John. You have to concentrate on those.
Matt had a nice catch last week for Worcester's 3rd touchdown right before the half.
3rd down 8.
It does bring up a 3rd and 7 situation for the Generals.
McCoy in his 2 passes already has looked a lot sharper than he had. He's really throwing the ball with authority.
McCoy being rushed, throws it out. Oh, Birdno can't handle it. It was behind him, but boy, he had running room had he caught it.
He certainly did.
McCoy had to get it away in a hurry. He was under pretty good pressure that time. So each team having 3 offensive plays and being forced into punting situation. Matt Smith, number 18, usually does the punting for the Generals. And he is going to stand back about his 36-yard line.
We've got Andy Benson and Aaron Marshall deep for
good high kick. Fair catch being called for and is taken on the 15-yard line. So Worcester really makes out on the exchange of punts quite well, Tony.
They have. It was a good punt.
Clock is down to 7:39. We're in the first quarter of action here at Mauer Field. John Hevlin, Tony Catanzarite bring you all the play-by-play action here on Cable TV 9. Matt Marshall, number 14, senior quarterback, brings his team out. High formation behind him. Long count. Man in motion now is Blood. The give is to the tailback. Hedrick, and he's ahead for a good 3 out to about the 17, 18-yard line. It was number 60, Glasgow, one of the inside linebackers who brought him down for the Generals.
Second down, 7.
Polar Bears breaking that huddle very quickly. Blood split way high to the top of your screen. Murphy's got in single coverage out there. Down the line, the pitch is to the tailback, Hedrich. He's out to the 20. Good pursuit by the Generals. Finicum is out there. And John Hayes, number 44, making the stop for the Generals.
Now it was well defended that time, John.
Third down, 4.
Third down, still 4 yards to go for the Polar Bears. We've got Cooper, McLean, Seifert, and Finicum across the front line for the Generals. Inside linebackers are Glasgow and Tony Lee. Outside, Brad Warner and Matt Smith. We'll give you the rest as the time permits. Man in motion this time. The quarterback, Marshall's got it, and he's nailed immediately. Good defense. Looked like McLean, 78, made the first contact, and then a lot of blue jerseys surround the quarterback. A little bit of a delayed draw, Tony.
And neither team has been able to penetrate the middle of the defenses.
This time the Generals send both Hayes and Murphy back deep. A wobbly kick coming up near midfield. Let's see what kind of a bounce it takes. It takes the Polar Bear bounce all the way down to about the 38-yard line of the Generals. Had that died and not taken that Jackson roll, it would have been right up around midfield.
It certainly would have.
With 5:41 left on the clock, and while the teams are getting ready for play, we'll break and be right back.
Look at this choice strip steak dinner, or this great tasting chicken dinner. These and many more delicious dinners are available from Degler's Restaurant on Lincoln Way, east of Wooster. In this commercial, we decided to show you how good the food actually looks, not use still photos of dinners like some places. At Degler's Restaurant, these are just a few of the great dinners and sandwiches waiting for you. Stop by Degler's Restaurant in the Wayne Lanes Plaza. Attention, Wayne County, if you're searching for top-quality furniture priced right, search no further than Ettinger's Furniture in the Heck Shopping Plaza. From recliners to living room sets, furniture for the bedroom or the dining room, Ettinger's Furniture has a large selection to choose from. And with financing available, owning new furniture from Ettinger's is oh so easy. This is top-quality, well-built furniture that will look great in any home. Stop by Ettinger's Furniture in the Heck Shopping Plaza on Lincoln Way East, Worcester.
Ryan Finicum brings the offense out over the ball. McCoy gives it to the tailback, Tony Lee, and he is swarmed under.
And he made it just back to the line of scrimmage.
There were, seemed to me, about 8 white jerseys. Field announcer going to give credit for the tackle to Bill Peel, but as I say, there were a lot of Polar Bears with hands on Tony. I think he's going to be a marked man tonight. Let us remind you that each week we have a broad view of area people, places, and things. That's on Panorama with Mark Glasgow Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. on Cable TV 9. Second down in about 10. There's a screen pass out to Tony Lee. There is a flag on the play, however, and it may come back. Tony's across midfield, but there is a flag in the Worcester backfield.
I look for a holding call here. Either that or illegal procedure, John.
Worcester is moving back already.
Illegal procedure. And there was a 13-yard gain that went for naught.
While we have a second, we might mention that some of the other teams who are playing tonight, that's Friday, September 12th, Triway goes over to Waynedale. Both of those squads looking for victory number 1. Smithville goes all the way up into the northwest corner of Ohio to play Woodmore, and Orville goes to play Copley tonight. Again, these are Friday the 12th, September 12th, ball games.
Procedure against the Generals.
It was a procedure call. It cost the Generals 5 yards and makes it 2nd and 15. Hayes to the bottom of your screen, Murphy to the top, split wide. Birdno and Lee behind the quarterback, McCoy. Going to drop back. No, he gives it to Tony Lee on the draw. Tony gets about 3 or 4.
Steve Costin and Aaron Marshall on the stop.
And again, I have to believe, Tony, that they have at least one of their linebackers who has 27 initialed on both his contact lenses. He's going to follow Tony every place tonight.
Well, they run a monster-type defense, John, and I'm sure that monster man is keen on Tony Lee.
Third down now and about 12. McCoy looking long out here for Murphy. Overthrown. Could not get to it, and it will bring up a punting situation for the Generals.
Covering for Jackson on the play. Brings up 4th down.
And once again, we're going to see a punt. That penalty, Tony, sure hurt the Generals. Looks like the Generals may be a man short. Coming onto the field very late, number 63, Rich Withrow. Low snap, nice pickup by Matt Smith. There's a whistle. He had his knee down, and there is a real break for the Polar Bears. Matt fielding that low punt, put his knee down on the 22-yard line. A very costly error for Wooster.
Would Doris Lilly please come to the press box? Doris Lilly.
And this is the first break of the game, and I think now the team with the least amount of mistakes, John, is going to win this ball game from what we've seen so far this first quarter.
It could easily be. Marshall's got split backs this time. Let's see if he goes to the air. I know Jackson would like to capitalize. He does. Looking an alley-oop down the sideline for the big tight end, number 88. Or excuse me, I said tight end. That's wide receiver. That's Andy Benson.
Number 88.
He's a big target at 6'3", Tony.
He certainly is.
We might send out our congratulations to the band members of the week. Debbie Edgar, Bill Perch, Tanya Canty, Ross Retzler, Kim Schunk, and Kay Adams. Our congratulations to these young men and women, band members of the week. 2nd down and 10. Marshall with a lot of deception. And that is the tailback, Hedrich. Good yardage. First down. Inside the 15. It was John Murphy, number 11, who finally made that stop with some help from number 90, Mitch Sleek. Those two young men were my guests on Coach's Corner on Thursday evening. Two fine young members of the Generals. First down now. That ball is resting on about the 11-yard line of the Generals. High backs this time. Hedrich is the tailback. A whistle. And it looks like it may cost the Polar Bears some yardage. Of course, the ball is dead.
I believe that was an equipment foul, John.
Well, Tony Lee just about took out the whole head official there as the official was making his call. And you're right, it is an equipment procedure. Probably a chin strap.
Either a chin strap or somebody didn't have their mouth guard in. And this again, while a lot of people think it's a ridiculous penalty, it's pretty good to the young men themselves.
So it brings up 1st and 15 for the Jackson club. Keefus, the down fullback. Hedrick's the tailback. But Marshall's got it on a roll. He's looking to pass. He throws it downfield. It is complete.
On the 4-yard line.
It looks like
inside the 5-yard line. Matt Smith on the tackle.
Smith on the tackle. I didn't see who caught it, though, Tony.
I didn't either.
Flag on the play.
There is a flag on the play. And is that equipment on Wooster this time? It was thrown right at the point where the tackle was made. Here comes Tony Lee back into the ball game. Matt Totten comes out. Wooster has come up with a nickname for their defense. It is the Nasty Defense. The Nasty Defense is being taxed severely right here. As they talk over that penalty with the Polar Bears, let us remind you that each week on Thursday evening, you can hear the thoughts of area coaches and athletes on Coach's Corner with myself, John Hevlin. That's Thursday at 6 p.m. on CATV 9. We talk with Triway coach Bill Barron, Smithville coach Keith Strock, and our own Coach McFarland of the Worcester Generals.
Jackson declines the penalty.
Tony, why did they decline that penalty?
I really couldn't tell you, John. I would have to assume that the penalty will not be as great as the
Yardage
gain
gain.
that they made. That's a nice name for spearing, I guess.
On the 4-yard line.
That ball is resting inside the 5. We'll call it the 4. On the clock, we're down to 2 minutes and 43 seconds, and the officials seem to be conferring over what has taken place. And while we have this opportunity, we might remind you that each weekend you can see how your team did in this Friday night football action on the CATV 9 weekend scoreboard. Scores will be given every 15 minutes on Channel 9 over the weekend. They have gone over to talk with Coach McFarland on the sideline and explain exactly what happened. The officials are still conferring out in the middle of the field as well. Certainly is a kind of a long delay here early in the game.
I mentioned too, John, Mike McLean, number 78, defensive tackle, was honored this past week as the defensive player of the Triway game.
Now in a reversal, it looks like the Polar Bears accepted that penalty, and it's marched off half the distance to the goal line.
No. I believe it probably was a dead ball foul, John.
High backs behind Marshall. The ball's in at about the 2. They give it to the tailback, and he's very close. That's Hedrick.
Hedrick, just short of the goal line.
He's got a first down, though.
You're right. They're going to have 4 shots to push it in. Hedrick's last week against Perry had just over the century mark. He had about 102 yards. So he certainly is a dangerous ball carrier. Let's see if Marshall tries to take it himself on a sneak. No, it's Hedrick, and he does make it in. Touchdown for Jackson.
Jackson leads 6-0.
With 2 minutes and 3 seconds on the clock, Jackson goes up 6-0 with the extra point try to come. From, what would you say, about a yard and a half out, maybe, Tony?
About it.
And it looks like Jackson will be trying for the extra point, the 1. Marshall does everything. He's going to hold. Whoa, that had plenty of distance, and it is good. The kicker was number 53. That's John Niedert. We might mention while we have a moment that John Finn is the man who fills you in on the College of Worcester athletics on Scott Sports Capsule, and that is Thursdays at 6:55 on CATV 9. And tomorrow, that'll be September 13th, Saturday, September 13th. Tony and I will be traveling over to Severance Stadium on the College of Worcester, where the Fighting Scots will open their season against Mount Union. We're real happy to be taping that game tomorrow. Coach Bob Tucker in his second year. The Polar Bears waiting for the whistle. It's a wobbly quick kick going over by the sidelines. It's out of bounds, and it'll be a re-kick after the Polar Bears are assessed a 5-yard penalty. Tony, you did mention that last week Mike McLean in the victory over Triway was given the Defensive Player of the Week award. The week before, in which Wooster defeated Glenville 19-14, the Offensive Player of the Week was the offensive tackle Mike Huddleston, the 6'5", 665-pound senior. And the Defensive Player of the Week was number 18, Matt Smith, who was a 6'2", 175-pound senior. Our congratulations to all three of those young men. The penalty has been assessed back to the 35. Again, number 53, that's John Neidert will be kicking off. Back deep for the Generals, we've got Murphy, Hayes, and I can't tell who else. This one goes straight down the middle. It is taken by Murphy. He's at the 25, the 30, the 35. John Murphy pulled down right near midfield.
And a good run back by John.
Number 24, Mark Hassman, made a possibly a touchdown-saving tackle on John. John had a full head of steam. Good field position, though, for the Generals. Here comes the junior quarterback, Matt McCoy, out. Wooster not able to get on track so far here in the first quarter. This time it's Tony Lee. He's hit immediately, and then again and again and again. You can see the gang tackling by that Jackson defense. Wow.
I believe it's going to be hard for either team to get much up that middle, John.
Number 45 led that charge. That's Bill Peel. We've called his number already quite a few times defensively. He's a tough cookie. Being generous, we can give Tony a yard and call it 2nd and 9. But it looks like Wooster may have to go to the air tonight. I don't know. High backs behind Matt McCoy. Drops back, throws it outside to John Hayes. Nice catch.
That was a good pass to John.
Nicely timed. 5-yard pickup on that, making it 3rd and 4 for the Generals. Clock down to 43 seconds. Maybe a couple more plays. Here's Mitch Sleek, number 90, into the lineup. High backs again. This time it's Tony Lee. Tony finding some running room, breaks to the outside, still on his feet, and is finally driven out of bounds at about the 33. That's the Tony Lee we know.
12-yard gain.
Let's run down the offensive lineup for the Generals tonight. Brian Finicum is the center. At the guards, Steve Cooper and Doug Glasgow. At the tackles, Mike Pegram and Mike Huddleston. The tight end is Matt Smith. And the flankers, John Murphy, John Hayes, and Mitch Sleek. McCoy, Birdno, and Tony Lee in that backfield. McCoy looking downfield for Hayes. It's overthrown. Could Matt maybe have taken a 1 or 2 count there and then let go? John was breaking free down that sideline.
I think Matt seemed like he rushed that a little bit.
That ball, by the way, is spotted on about the 33-yard line of the Polar Bears. The clock is down to 11 seconds. This should be the last play of the first quarter. John Murphy in motion to the top of your screen. McCoy back to pass, looking for a screen pass over the middle. It is caught by Murphy. And John doesn't really get that much.
He got,
What, about 3?
about 4.
That was the last play of the first quarter.
Almost
so
5.
at the end of 1, our score is the Jackson Polar Bears 7, the Wooster Generals nothing.
Hi, I'm Tom Lyons, Performance Pontiac Olds GMC Trucks, 1363 Lincoln Way West, Worcester. Stop and see me. Take advantage of our low financing, dependable vehicles, and courteous service. That's Tom Lyons, Performance Pontiac Olds GMC Trucks, your complete transportation center.
Hi, I'm Lisa Klein, a freshman guard on the High State women's basketball team. I really enjoy playing basketball, not because I'm good at it, but because I give it my all. And I couldn't do that if I consumed alcohol, and neither can you. Find yourself a sport or activity that you can give it your all, and stay away from alcohol. If you're dedicated enough to your sport or activity, you'll know enough to say no to alcohol.
Brought to you by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Cable Television Association.
Down now on the field, right on the sideline, Don Bogner is presenting to the Worcester City Schools, their superintendent, Mr. Smith, Dr. Smith, a plaque. On this plaque are the names of the first 12 men who were inducted into the Worcester High School Hall of Fame. And that plaque will be put on a wall at Worcester High School. And our congratulations go out to the 12 inductees, the charter members, if you will, of the Worcester High School Hall of Fame. We were handed a band announcement that we'd like to share with you, especially you people who are catching this game on Friday night, the 12th, because tomorrow, Saturday, September 13th, the Worcester High School Marching Band will be performing at Perry Band Show in Massillon. This Festival of the Bands, well, we'll pick it up later. Tony Lee did not get much. We might mention that this Festival of Bands will begin at 7:30 p.m. and include Smithville, Sandy Valley, Minerva, Fairless, and Perry High School, in addition to the Marching Generals, and tickets can be purchased from any band member. Please come on out and see your band perform. Support the Worcester Generals Band. Worcester with 4th and 5 yards, just inside the 30-yard line. Worcester going for it, high backs. The pitch is to Tony Lee, sweeping to the outside, and he does not make it. He is nailed in the backfield. Not really much of a gamble when you're in that close, Tony. You would have had to punt it pretty short to get any exchange. Had it gone in the end zone on a point, it would have come out.
John. He wasn't doing much up the middle, so he was going to try to go around the end. I think the defense was looking for a pass, so I thought it was a very good call by Coach McFarland.
So Worcester's nasty defense will be called upon again here. We've got two receivers split way, way wide to the bottom of your screen, and I-backs behind Marshall, the quarterback. And the play is to the tailback, Hedrich. He gets ahead for about 5 yards. Right defensive end, Brian Finicum, number 59, in on the tackle for Worcester.
Unofficially, John, we have Tony Lee in the first quarter for a total of 17 yards and 5 carries.
Certainly below what he has been able to do thus far this season. Again, two wide receivers to the bottom of the screen. Benson and Blood. And Hedrich again up the middle. This time not much, maybe a yard. And again, Finicum, 59, leading the Generals. As they spot that, give Hedrich 2 and call it the 3rd and about 3. Worcester brings in Matt McCoy and Tony Lee. Doug Glasgow and Matt Totten come out. Worcester apparently anticipating that Marshall may go to the air. This time Blood's to the top of your screen, and Benson is split to the bottom. Marshall long count. Worcester almost jumped offside. Marshall down the line is nailed. It's Finicum. Brian Finicum, nice defensive play.
Now, good defense. Worcester's defensive line just pushed the offensive line back, and Finnegan got in that backfield.
So with the exception of the one break that Jackson got when Matt Smith fielding the center on a low punt put his knee down, these two teams have played pretty even, Tony.
It certainly has.
Looks like Wooster may rush again. Oh, it's a fake punt. It's the tailback. Tom Keefus picked up the first down. Good deception by Jackson. And they get the ball down to the Generals' 46-yard line.
And both coaches are pulling out all stops tonight.
Tony, we're going to break real quickly and be right back.
Watching the great sports action, wouldn't a pizza like this one taste great? Then call 264-0571 for the Pizza Bowl and let them bring a pizza, sandwich, or any great menu item right to your door. They offer free delivery and are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Remember the pizza that we just showed you? The Pizza Bowl is waiting to make yours. Call 264-0571 for Degler's Restaurant and the Pizza Bowl. They have the food you're craving for. No gimmicks, no giveaways, just honest savings every day of the year. That's what you'll find at Mott's Decorating, 4188 Cleveland Road, Worcester. Mott's Decorating is serious about quality, and you should be too. At Mott's Decorating, they want happy and satisfied customers. That's why quality is spelled with Mott's Decorating, one-stop decorating for all of your vinyl floor, carpet, paint, wall covering, and now new at Mott's Decorating, area rugs. Stop by Mott's Decorating, Cleveland Road, Worcester.
First and 10 for the Polar Bears on the 46-yard line of the Generals. Long count by Marshall, gives it to his tailback, or excuse me, his fullback, Keefus, 32. Tony, mentally it had to be a real blow to the Generals defense who had held the Polar Bears on 3 downs to have them fake that punt and pick up the first down.
Well, it has to be a mental letdown there. You know, they played enough, and they've seen that happen many a time before. It's just one of those things where they're in such a rush to go after the kicker, and they just let the man go by him.
Give Keefus a yard, second down and 9 for the Polar Bears. Blood and Benson to the top of your screen. Marshall rolling out. Cooper's got him, and he brings him down. Uh-oh, there's a flag, and I think Cooper may have grabbed the face mask. It was not intentional, I don't believe, but I think they did get the face mask. Yes, they did. So instead of third down and a long, long way to go, the Generals are going to give away some yardage.
The penalty will be from the point of the rule infraction, though, John. It won't be from the line of scrimmage.
Well, that will certainly help the Generals.
Penalty is measured from the point of the infraction, 15 yards against Wooster.
Well, am I glad I said that?
You've probably been spending evenings and weekends reading your rule book, Tony.
There you go.
Well, the Generals are not hurt too bad. It'll bring up 2nd and 8. But, of course, we would have liked to have had that loss of about 9 yards. Benson goes to the top of your screen, blood to the bottom. Ibach's behind Marshall. And it's to the fullback, Keefus. I hope they saw that he fell down early. Oh, my, they're going to give him that extra yardage. Worcester fans very upset at the marking of the ball. It looked like his knee hit quite a bit earlier.
Third down 5.
Well, it's still a 3rd and 5 down situation. Matt Totten out defensively. Matt McCoy in. Worcester again looking for the pass. Blood to the top of your screen. Benson to the bottom. The ball is right on the 40-yard line. 5 yards, 4th and 5. Marshall looking over the middle. Incomplete. I believe I called that 4th and 5. It apparently was 3rd and 5. Excuse me for that mix-up. A very important mix-up with that. It is now 4th and 5.
I give you the officials tonight's game, John. Now we've got everybody worked up here. Referee Richard Jeffrey. The umpire is Harold DeHenning. Head linesman is Charlie Cumholtz. Field judge is Keith Newton. And the back judge is Don Narducci.
Okay, 4th down. This time it's split backs behind Marshall. Looks like a passing formation. It is. They throw it over the middle. It is complete to the tailback. Mark Hedrich. Nice catch. Down on the, well, they're going to spot it on the 21-yard line. John Hayes making the stop for the Generals.
That was a beautiful pass by Matthews.
I don't know if we've mentioned it, but we will again, that Matt Marshall, who is a senior, has started for 3 years. So this is a very highly skilled young athlete. I-backs behind him this time. And they give it to Hedrich. He finds some room, but there's a flag on the play.
And I think we'll have an illegal block or illegal use of hands.
The official did not hesitate. That flag went down in the line early.
It's holding.
Tony, while they talk about this penalty with Wooster, I want to do that announcement again for the band. For you Friday night folks watching this on Friday night, September 12th, tomorrow, Saturday, September 13th, the Wooster High School Marching Band will be performing at the Perry Band Show in Massillon. The festival bands will begin at 7:30 p.m. and include Smithville, Sandy Valley, Minerva, Perilous, and Perry High School bands, in addition to our own marching generals. Tickets can be purchased from any band member, so come see the band and show your support. That ball is marched back all the way to the 31-yard line. 1st and 20. I-backs behind Marshall. And Marshall trying to roll out. He finds some room to the outside. Matt Smith with the tackle.
The keeper gets to the 25-yard line.
Pickup of about 6 yards on the play.
Matt Smith on the tackle for the Generals.
I guess one of the things you have to say about Marshall is he's not flashy. He's just super consistent, Tony.
He just happens to do everything right, John.
Linda Smith of Wooster.
The clock is at 5:42 remaining here before the half. I-backs for Marshall. 2nd down and about 14 yards. That penalty really hurt the Polar Bears. Marshall looking downfield. He's got a lot of time. Now throws over the middle. It is caught. Number 92.
Short of a first down.
Paul Ackerman. Mitch Sleek on the tackle.
John, you give that passer that much time, he's going to find somebody
Exactly.
else.
That's just what I was going to say. He had about an hour and a half back there.
Seemed like it anyway.
It is still, I guess you mentioned, Tony, short of the first down. What, about 3rd and 3? Clock's at 5 minutes even, remaining here in the first half. This is an important play for the Generals. The next two are, really. Marshall gives it to the tailback. He was hit immediately.
I believe he's going to be short. He's going to bring up a 4th down. Now we'll see what Jackson coach does.
It was Brian Finicum, 59, just sprinting in from his defensive end position, making that tackle. Brian has had a fine defensive ball game. Yeah, 4th and 1. You were right, Tony. He is short. They do have a field goal kicker, but it looks to me like they're going to go for the first down. 4th and 1. That ball resting on about the 16-yard line of the, on the 11-yard line of the Generals. Long count, trying to draw the Generals off. The same play again, 1st down and more for Hedrich. Tony Lee, number 27, had him around the ankles, but not soon enough. 1st down, 7 yards away from pay dirt for the Polar Bears. Worcester defense has been on the field a long time here in the first half. I-backs again behind Marshall. The give is to Hedrich, and this time it's a picture-perfect tackle.
He might have gotten a yard, and that's about it.
Waiting to see what the Generals on the bottom. 78, Mike McLean. Mike took that one right out of the textbook. Drove his shoulder right in there. I'd have to say no gain, Tony.
Second and goal.
Second down and 7 for the score. This time it's split-backs. It has indicated pass usually for the Polar Bears. It does again. They look over the middle. Benson incomplete. Ooh, very close. Good coverage. John Hayes right with him.
Pass. Headed for Andy Benson, incomplete.
Benson, as we mentioned, makes a pretty good target at 6'2".
Hayes on the coverage.
John stuck to him like bubble gum.
Third and goal.
He certainly did. As you say, Benson is a tall man. I thought for sure he'd try to go over the top on that.
Alley-oop, yeah. John's probably only about, we'll look, probably about 5'9".
There's the second quarter prize.
Tony, with 3:06 on the clock, our score is the Jackson Polar Bears 7, the Wooster Generals nothing. We'll take time out and be right back.
Enjoy great movies like Back to the Future and Return of the Jedi in the comfort of your own home. Just stop by Dino's Home Movies in Wooster and Smithville. With over 1,800 movies to choose from, Dino's has the movie you're looking for no matter what kind. And if you don't have a VCR, rent one from Dino's Home Movies at the foot of Bell Avenue in downtown Worcester and on Main Street in Smithville. It's Dino's Home Movies, open 7 days a week.
Edinger's Furniture has bedroom sets. Fine craftsmanship by fine names like Burlington and Impact. At Edinger's, you'll find dining room furniture, a large selection priced to fit your pocketbook. Take a look at this 3-piece living room set. Edinger's Furniture specializes in top-quality, well-built furniture that looks good in any home. They also carry mobile home supplies like replacement doors and plastic pipes. Edinger's Furniture in the Heck Shopping Center on Lincoln Way East in Worcester. Stop by today.
Tony, John Hayes is going to owe me a Coke or something. I gave him a couple of inches. The program lists him at 5'7". I said 5'9". So he's giving up about 8 inches to Andy Benson at the end position out there.
Certainly is. You would think that they would try to go over the top. And here again, Marshall's trying to get rid of that ball, and he throws it in there when he thinks he's going to get the ball in there. And it was a very close play. He almost had it. I think Hayes just happened to touch it there just at the last possible second.
While we had that timeout, we were panning the sidelines and showing some of the young women who add so much to the spirit of the Worcester Generals, the cheerleaders. And as time permits, we would like to get their names on the air. But right now, we've got a critical 3rd down 7 situation for the Polar Bears. 7 yards for the touchdown. Uh-oh, we got a play with blood moving to the outside. And he is only going to gain about 2 when it's all over, down about the 4. Murphy stayed home and finally ran him out of bounds. We taxed our camera person, Cindy Glasgow, to the max there. Cindy trying to follow that all the way over.
10-yard penalty at least.
Brings up a 4th down situation. And we might mention here that at halftime we will have both bands for you, so stay tuned. I know it's going to be an outstanding show. But right now we've got plenty of action with 2:59 on the clock. And Jackson, I didn't see that. There's a yellow flag and a penalty.
Go block. That's 15 yards, John.
Tony, it will give them 3rd down again, but the Generals, I think, very wisely are taking that penalty. Here comes Matt McCoy in. Worcester figuring that Marshall will try and pass to get some of that yardage back. Let's see. Blood goes to the top of your screen. Benson comes to the bottom as wide receivers. We've got the eye backs. Worcester, of course, looking pass. Got a man in motion as well now. Marshall rolling back to pass, looking. He's being chased. And, he gets away, and he's finally down. He lost the football. Worcester's got it. Marshall scrambled too much.
Number 57.
Steve Cooper.
And
Very
Worcester
big
dodged
play.
the bullet that time, John.
Very
A
big
fine
play.
defensive play.
It took away the momentum there. Worcester looking like they might have to go in at half down 2 scores. Now even has a chance to even it up before the half, or at least get an offensive drive going that would maybe regain some of the momentum of this game.
Yes,
Tony.
that certainly had to change the momentum of that good defensive stand there, John.
First and 10 for the Generals on the 30. McCoy on the draw play to Tony Lee. He fought his way for 2 or 3 yards. He is a marked man tonight, though.
He certainly is. Got 2 on that.
He had 1 breakaway there run tonight, and that's really it. But what you said, 17 at the end of the first quarter, unofficially.
Unofficially, and he's got 0 here this second quarter. He had a -3 yards on 1 play.
Worcester fans exhorting the Generals to go. The clock is down at 2 minutes. We've got second and about 9. McCoy looks up at Mitch Sleek, the top of your screen. Murphy to the bottom. He drops back to pass. Looking down for Murphy. Incomplete. Tony, if you throw it, you always would rather be a little long than short because of the possibility of interception. And that was a nice pass.
That was a nice pass.
It was about a yard or 2, though, beyond John Murphy. And Murphy, by the way, was well covered. And now, Tony, I think Worcester's got to be a little bit careful that they don't want to give up the ball too soon to the Jackson team. Minute and 48 on the clock, and it's 3rd and 9.
Third down 8.
Polar Bears have played fine defense against the Generals thus far. McCoy standing in there, throws it. Oh, Murphy, a little behind him.
Matt McCoy's pass intended for John Murphy, coverage by Dirk Blood.
It was thrown just a little bit high and behind John. He is a fine receiver. We saw him make a fantastic interception in the first game. Leaping and diving and spearing that football, but couldn't come up with it that time. Matt Smith going to be very careful, I'm sure, that he doesn't kneel to take this snap. There's a better snap and a nice kick. It is taken on about the 31-yard line, back to about the 38-yard line. On the bottom of the pile is number 62. That is Corey Hupp. Corey probably will see some action additionally tonight at a guard position for the Generals. So Worcester defense is called upon again with a minute and 33 left here in the first half. Our score, Jackson 7, Worcester nothing. Blood to the top of your screen, Benson to the bottom. 2 fine receivers. And I-backs behind Marshall. Boy, they never go on the first count. Marshall back to pass, waiting, now throws downfield, almost intercepted out there. Mitch Sleek just about had that. And I'll tell you, John Murphy tattooed his number on Andy Benson's chest, even though he missed the ball.
The ball just went too high, but Marshall has certainly shown that he can throw that ball.
Second down and 10. That ball is spotted at the 39-yard line. Clock down a minute and 10. Split back this time. Jackson has had a tendency to throw off this formation, and they do again, or it looks like they're going to. Wooster, good rush. Oh, he threw it away. We're not going to get an intentional grounding, however. It was in the area of one of the Jackson players. 59 Finicum was right around the ankles, and McLean wasn't very far behind.
With the exception of that one time, John, Worcester's defense has certainly dogged Matt Marshall as far as passing.
It is 3rd and 10 now as that ball fell harmlessly incomplete. That was one that was really up for grabs, though. Worcester might have had a chance at it. Again, the split backs. Blood to the top of your screen. Benson to the bottom. Here comes Matt Smith. The ball is fumbled. It's picked up. Who has that ball? It's Brad Warner. Brad is run out of bounds at the 15. Worcester gets the break. Marshall just dropped it, didn't he?
He was handing off to the tailback, John, and the exchange was never really made.
So, Wooster gets the break that perhaps they need. There are only 54 seconds on the clock. They're 15 yards away from pay dirt. And I don't know about you, Tony, but my adrenaline is really flowing.
This is the break that the Generals needed. If they can cash in on this, the momentum will be with them to start the second half.
I would think so. Matt McCoy at quarterback, I-backs behind him. There's the give to Tony Lee. No, McCoy kept it. He throws it out there. It's interference on the goal line. Interference, no question about it. Mitch Sleek never had a chance to catch it. He
I
was
believe the
bear hugged.
interference was even before he reached for the ball.
That was a perfect pass. I think Mitch might have grabbed that one had he not been interfered with. Number 6 was the defender. That's Aaron Marshall. And even the Jackson film takers up here, I think, are not complaining about that official's flag. It was pretty obvious. The clock is stopped at 48 seconds.
This is where the new rule, John, really is hurting the Generals. Remember the old rule, they would have got it right there
Right
at the
there,
point
yes.
of infraction at the 1 yard line. Puts the ball down to the 7 yard line.
7 yards away from pay dirt, 48 seconds on the clock. John Hayes brought in the play for the Generals. The Worcester fans chanting, go, go, go. It's Birdno and Lee behind McCoy. They give it to Tony Lee. He churned for 2 tough yards, but that's all. And Worcester wants timeout. They've got to stop the clock. It's down to 41 seconds. Again, let us remind you that at halftime we will have both the Worcester and the Jackson High School bands. Coach McFarland walking out on the field. Worcester has a second, and it's just inside the 5, but I'd say it's just about 5 yards away from the goal line. 2nd and 5. The clock has 41 seconds. Plenty of time.
Plenty of time. They've got one timeout left also, John. I believe. No, this should be the last one.
Well, let us mention while we have this break in the action that on Wednesday evening at 6 p.m., it's the College of Worcester home football games here on CATV 9. And that means next Wednesday we will have for you the College of Worcester's opening game against Mount Union. Also on Wednesday nights prior to the showing of the football game, we'll have Timeout with Tucker. John Finn, the sports information director at the College of Worcester, will be interviewing Coach Tucker. Okay, Coach McFarland coming off the field. Worcester with 2nd and 5 in the full house backfield. The give is to Tony Lee. He's in there. If there are no flags, we've got a 7-6 game.
It is a touchdown. And now the breaks are even, John.
Exactly, Tony, but I'm going to hold my breath now on the extra point.
Irregardless, I'd like to make the extra point. I have all the confidence in the world, John. But even if they don't, the momentum is now with the Generals. They will be receiving the ball at the start of the second half.
The kick will be made by Denny Shear, number 45. Mitch Sleek is holding. Nice snap. Kick is no. Oh, it hits the crossbar
and does
and
not
comes
go
back. No good. Oh, what I wouldn't have given for a 80-mile-an-hour wind at that point to blow it over, but it didn't happen. So as you can see, with 38 seconds left here before the half, our score is Jackson 7 and Worcester 6. But again, Tony, I would have to agree with you that this touchdown has to give the old momentum back to the Generals. They showed they can move the ball against Jackson, although a penalty obviously played a role in that score.
Well, if they hadn't gotten the penalty, John, we would have had a touchdown anyway.
there are the Generals getting ready for the kickoff. Denny Shear up about 5 yards beyond them, teeing up the football. With 38 seconds, my guess would be that the Polar Bears may just kind of regroup at the half. But here again, when you got Mike Marshall and two fine wide receivers in Blood and Benson, maybe you go for the home run.
If you remember the kickoff at the beginning of the game, the man had a pretty good run back, John.
Right up the middle, didn't he?
Right now, that's all we're going to worry about.
Denny Shear waiting for the whistle now. And it's a squabble kick. It's up to one of the up men. He gets it on about the 27, and I'm sure that was planned. Host of General tacklers make the stop at about the 38. It looks like number 21, Brad Warner, and again, I'm not sure if I gave him credit on that fumble recovery, but it was number 21, the outside linebacker, Brad Warner. Brad, perhaps at the beginning of the season, not projected as a starter, has stepped in and done an outstanding job at that outside linebacker. Okay, the clock down to 21 seconds. We've got two wide receivers, Benson and Blood, both to the top of your screen. Ibanks behind Marshall. And he gives it to the tailback, Mark Hedrich. Hedrich is swarmed under.
And that should be the last play of the half.
There's a little bit of extracurricular activity, but that is the last play of the first half. So at the half, we've got Jackson on top by a score of 7-6. Stay tuned for the band.
Hi, I'm Tom Lyons. Performance Pontiac Olds GMC Trucks, 1363 Lincoln Way West, Wooster. Stop and see me. Take advantage of our low financing, dependable vehicles, and courteous service. That's Tom Lyons.
Score, Jackson 7, Wooster 6. Tony, I think you've had a chance to get some statistics compiled. I know you always get your head together with Art Holden from the...
Yes, Art Holden's been giving us the stats here at halftime. Art, as you know, covers the games for the Daily Record. Our stats here, first downs, Worcester had 3, the Jackson's 5. Rushing, Worcester rushed 11 downs for a total of 24 yards, while Jackson had 23 rushes for 40 yards. In passing yardage, Worcester had 22 yards to 44 for Jackson. Matt McCoy completed 3 out of 8 passes, and his counterpart, Matt Marshall, also completed 3 out of 8. Worcester, we counted the punt that Matt Smith went down on his knee as a fumble because it had bounced before. It got to Matt, so we counted that as a fumble. So Worcester, we could say, had 1 fumble and lost 1 fumble. Jackson, on the other hand, had 2 fumbles and lost 1. Penalties, Worcester had 3 penalties for 21 yards to Jackson with 5 penalties for 42 yards. As far as leading rushers, Hedrick, the tailback for Jackson, has 11 carries for 41 yards. For Worcester, Lee's got 10 carries for 22 yards.
So neither back at this point headed for possibly, unless we have some changes, a 100-yard game, or at least both of them are going to have to work real hard in the second half.
It's been a pretty even ball game up till now. Both scores were made on mistakes by the other team. So I guess we could say that things do look pretty well evened up. Also, not only we had a fine ball game, we had a fine halftime show with both the Jackson and the Worcester band.
Absolutely.
And we find out here that the Jackson band will be performing on New Year's Eve down in Dallas, Texas, in the Cotton Bowl Parade.
That's fantastic. That's not only an honor for the Jackson band, but also really for Northeast Ohio. So our congratulations to them. And if I'm up that late on that particular evening, I'll certainly try and catch him.
Well, it certainly has to be a great thrill for these young people to be able to make that trip.
Absolutely. Tony, we saw both the team's coaches both the team's captains meeting at midfield. I can't help but believe that Wooster made the decision to receive here and get the ball first in the second half. You can see them. They did a little bit of calisthenics down there at the south end of the field, and now returning to the bench are most of the team, and it certainly does look to me like the receiving team is huddling up at about the 40-yard line. So Wooster, who finally got that touchdown right before the first half, will have a chance again to see what they can do offensively to begin the second half of action here at Mauer Field. It's John Hevlin and Tony Catanzarite bringing you all the play-by-play tonight. Each team coming into tonight's game were undefeated, 2-0. Jackson got to that situation by defeating Collinwood 28-12 in the opener. Last week beating Perry 34-6. Wooster took Glenville 19-14 in the opener and took the measure of Triway last week 28-0. Both teams ready now for the kickoff. We're waiting on the whistle. And there is the whistle. The second half should be getting underway momentarily. There's the kick, relatively short, coming towards the sideline. It's out of bounds at the 20. They'll kick it again 5 yards back. That's is number 53, John Neidert, kicking off. That's the second time tonight he's drawn a penalty.
He certainly has, and I think he's trying to spot the ball, and I think he's just going too far to one side, John.
Wooster will re-huddle up right at the 50-yard line as Neidert, as you can see, is teeing the ball up again. Back deep for the Generals. Number 32 would be Dan Edwards. John Murphy in the middle. John Hayes to the top of your screen. He might be kicking at Dan Edwards, who is the young man of the three of the Generals who are deep, who has seen the least playing time. I don't honestly know. He will be kicking from the 35. And this one is short down the middle. Murphy looks like he'll take it on a bounce. It bounced over his head. Now it bounces up to him at the 20, 25, and ahead to about the 28-yard line. Number 28 making the stop for Jackson is John Knox. So Wooster will have the ball to begin the second half. Field position fair, I guess you'd call it, on the 28-yard line. John Hayes goes to the top of your screen. John Murphy to the bottom. The junior quarterback, Matt McCoy, with Birdno and Lee behind him. The give is to Tony Lee on a counter. Nothing doing. Wow.
And I don't believe he made it back to the line of scrimmage.
That play in earlier weeks against both Glenville and Triway had been a good one. But, Tony, you're exactly right. They give Tony Lee momentum just back to the line of scrimmage. Here comes Mitch Sleek bringing in the play for the Generals. On that offensive line tonight for the Generals, it's Finicum at center. It's Cooper and Glasgow at guards. Pegram and Huddleston at the tackles. Matt Smith at the tight end. Matt McCoy back to pass, looking for Murphy. He's open in the middle, and he's got it at the 42.
Fine pass. Good 13 yards.
John Murphy breaking open as he kind of took a curl pattern over the center of the field. Nice play, nice throw, nice catch. Worcester mixing up their plays much better this evening than they had in the first couple games.
And I really got to say that McCoy's passes tonight have really looked crisp. He really wings that ball out there.
Tony Lee stumbles through, but still picks up a good 4 yards. And I'd have to say there was a hole at the point of attack. That ball, the nose is just an eyelash shy of the 45-yard line. 2nd and 6. Just into the second half of action here at Mauer Field. And there's a defensive man who jumped. And it should bring up a second and short yardage for the Generals. Second and about 1 after they march off the penalty. It's a dead ball foul against Jackson. One of the few mental mistakes that we've seen. Jackson did have one other, I think, that was called an equipment foul.
That plus the interference on the pass there.
Well, yeah, but that was more of an error of commission. This is just one of those discipline.
We had 5
things.
penalties for Jackson the first half, John.
Okay. That ball is, again, this time an eyelash shy of midfield. 2nd and 1. Would you, well, I shouldn't speculate on what the Generals might do against this tough Jackson defense. They'll probably just try and go for the first down. Quarterback sneak. Matt McCoy gets the first down, but there is a flag.
And we've got a flag. And I would think that we are going to have a penalty against the Generals.
By the way, I've been calling Brian Finnegan's number over the ball at center, and I have been in error. I see that number 55, Eric Houston, is playing center tonight for the Generals. I guess I assumed too much. Brian had played center the first 2 games. So, Tony, we picked up 5 and we give away 10, huh?
Yes, that there was I call that, the holding should have never occurred. It was completely out of the play.
Makes it 2nd down and 10 yards now. Birdno and Tony Lee behind Matt McCoy. Matt dropping back the pass, looking over the middle. It is, complete, or incomplete to Matt Smith. He had it momentarily, but he couldn't hang on. He was being dogged, but it was a catchable pass.
It was there. He had it in his hands. I think he ran before he had the ball tucked away.
We just flashed on the screen, and let me remind you that each weekend on CATV9 you can see how your high school team did. Every 15 minutes we will be running the scores of area high schools, so check the scoreboard every weekend. 3rd down now and 10. McCoy again back to pass, looking over the middle again, bounces off a shoulder pad, almost intercepted by Marshall. And Wooster is stalled out, in part at least, by the penalty, and now is going to have to punt it away. Clock is down to 9:24. We're in the 3rd quarter of action. We've got a 7-6 ball game. Benson and Marshall deep. Matt Smith, good kick. Nice high kick. Going to give the Generals time to get. Benson takes it, sweeping to the outside, and is knocked down at about the 37-yard line.
That's good field position for the Polar Bears.
Number 62, Corey Hupp, again on the bottom of the pile for the Generals. With our score, Jackson 7 and Wooster 6. Will break momentarily and be right back. They've got both Blood and Benson to the top of your screen. High backs behind Marshall, the quarterback. Long count, gives it to the tailback. Hedrich almost broke free there. He tripped in the line and then was covered by number 18, Matt Smith. Looked like the defensive line of the Generals kind of stacked that up.
That is rough yardage in that center of that line, John, on both sides.
They're going to, Hedrick actually got 3 when they spot the ball, so it's 2nd and 7. Marshall down the line, the pitch to the outside to Hedrick. John Hayes really sank his shoulder into him.
About a half a yard on that.
And
that was
Tony
fine
Lee
defensive
right there
play
too.
by Tony Lee and John Hayes.
John is not a big guy. We mentioned he only goes 5'7", but boy, he played 6 foot on that one. He stuck a shoulder in there. And there is absolutely no gain. Tony Lee comes out. Matt McCoy goes in Worcester's version of the nickel defense. Looking for Marshall to throw it. Blood goes to the top of your screen. Benson to the bottom. I-backs behind Marshall. Ball on the 41-yard line. Marshall drops back to pass. Looking. It's Finicum, and as he throws, incomplete. Brian Finicum was right on his back. Good coverage out there by Brad Warner, number 21.
Matt Marshall again showed this poise in the grasp of a Worcester defender there. He still got the ball away.
If I'm a college scout, I'm interested in Matt Marshall. He did show a lot of cool on that, Tony. So Worcester defense does hold, and number 16, it's Blood. Dirk Blood will be doing the punting. Cooper with a nice attempt at a block. Here comes Murphy, fair catch. Fumbles the ball and falls on it on the 30. Oh boy. So Worcester gets the ball back. Let's see, the time is 8:20 remaining here in the third quarter of action. That ball is spotted exactly on the 30-yard line. We'll break now in this change of possession and be right back.
They're serious about quality, and you should be too. At Mott's Decorating, they want happy and satisfied customers, and that's why they're serious about quality. There are no gimmicks, no giveaways, just honest savings every day of the year at Mott's Decorating. 4188 Cleveland Road, Worcester. Phone 345-6018 for paint, carpet, wall covering, ceramic, vinyls, and more. One-stop decorating at Mott's Decorating on Cleveland Road, Worcester. After the big game or for your next party or get-together, stop by Dino's Drive-Thru to pick up your favorite potato chips, candy bars, or other snacks. Dino's Drive-Thru has a large selection of everything you need to make your next party a big hit. With 2 convenient locations at the foot of Bell Avenue and on Lincoln Way east of Worcester, it's Dino's Drive-Thru. Make sure you put Dino's on your next party list.
Let me give another plug to Eric Houston, 55, who is playing center tonight for the Generals. This time it is McCoy waiting, finally throwing out for Hayes. Out of bounds, incomplete. Nicely conceived play.
He could have got the ball out to Birdno over on the far side, John. Birdno was out there all by himself. And we've got a penalty against the Generals.
Well, this might be a tough defensive call to make. You want to make it 1st and 15 or 2nd and 10?
Well, take the penalty.
It'll be marched back to the 25-yard line. Again, let me put in a plug for Coach's Corner. Here are the thoughts of the area coaches and athletes on Coach's Corner each Thursday evening at 6 p.m., hosted by yours truly, John Hevlin. 1st and 15 for the Generals with the ball on the 25. Ivax behind McCoy. This time they give it to Tony Lee. He spins off one tackler, and there's 2 more.
And Tony picked up maybe 1 yard.
They're going to give that tackle again to Mr. Peel. He has been a real thorn in the side of the Generals tonight. And believe me, he had plenty of help. There were a lot of white jerseys around Tony Lee. And it's going to bring up 2nd and 14. We'll give Tony a yard on that carry. John Hayes brings in the play. Clock continues to run down to 7:20 in the third quarter of action. 7-6, Worcester down by a point. Tony Lee, no, Matt McCoy almost fell. He's going to have to eat the football back at the 15.
Back at the 15.
He lost his footing, Tony. That's not taking anything away from the Polar Bear defense, led by number 46, Todd Morrow. Wow, that is 3rd and
22.
22. Mitch Leak brings in the play. Worcester, of course, would like to at least get a chunk of that real estate back if they do have to punt it away. Ivax behind McCoy. They give it to Murphy on a counter up the middle. Murphy with a nice cut. Comes out across the 30, still on his feet. To about the 34. He got back about 14 yards. It's still shy of the first down by about 8. 7 or 8. But at least it'll give the Generals much better field position to punt from. Tony, was that John's first carry of the night?
That was.
Matt Smith is back to punt for the Generals. And it's another high one. Going to be taken by Benson back on the 28. He makes a nice move, and he's back to about the 38-yard line. Number 30 on the bottom of the pile for the Generals is Mark Newcomer. Also, number 63 is Rich Withrow. First and 10 on the 39-yard line for the Polar Bears.
But Withrow, John, for his size, and he's blocking in the backfield. One of the back blockers for the punter. He gets down that field pretty fast.
He sure did. Hedrich in motion. They look for him out in the flat. Down the sidelines. It's picked off by John Hayes. Down the sideline, showing good speed.
And that is a touchdown.
Wooster.
And that man will not sleep tonight, John. He'll be laying in bed dreaming of that one all over again.
They were going for the tailback who had gone in motion. A little blooper pass out there. And John Hayes looked like a center fielder. He caught it right in the bread basket. And he showed me some good speed down the sideline.
Sure. I got excited there. I had a cough. And I believe they're going to go for 2 this time, John.
Yes, it does look that way. And now Wooster is a little bit confused, and it looks like they want timeout. So with 5:14 remaining here in the third quarter, Wooster has gone on top by a score of 13-7 with the extra point try yet to come. Well, Tony, so far tonight, I'd have to say that the scoring, all 3 scores, 1 for Jackson, now 2 by Wooster, have come on breaks, have come on turnovers.
They certainly have.
Tony, I want to correct an error. I think I said 13-7. 6 and 6 is 12. My first grade teacher would probably be upset, but I did take it off the scoreboard, so I'm going to put a little bit of blame on the people downstairs. Field announcer just giving the credit to John Hayes on that interception, and you can hear the roar of approval from the crowd. Coach McFarland coming off the field, and Worcester is definitely going for 2. They've got the full house backfield. The call is to Tony Lee. No, sir.
No, sir.
I think everybody in the ballpark knew it was going to Tony.
John, so far we have seen 2 very evenly matched teams, and all the scoring was all done by errors by the opposing team. And I don't think you're going to find anybody that's going to argue that point.
Well, it has been an outstanding football team. Now Worcester's defense is going to be called upon because, of course, a score by Jackson would put them back up again. Let us remind you, while we have a second, that you can get a broad view of area people, places, and things on Panorama with Mark Glasgow Thursday evenings at 5:30 on Cable TV 9. Mark, by the way, is also our producer, and he does one whale of a job. So he's very versatile on camera and off camera as well. And it runs in the family because Cindy is also our camera person. Kenny Shear waited for the whistle. He kicks it off, and now there's another whistle and a flag, and it looks like perhaps the Generals are offside. While I'm talking about behind-the-scenes people, there's one other young man I'd like to mention. He just recently joined the Cable TV 9 crew, and that's Scott Blanchard. Scott spelling Cindy on camera tonight. Give her a chance to get out of the wind and the weather. There is definitely, Tony, a nip in the air tonight. It's good football weather.
It is. It's beautiful night for football, John. I think the young men out there on that field are kind of enjoying this. Don't have to worry too much about cramps in the heat.
And Kenny Shear is ready to kick it again. From the 35. Denny got a better foot into that one. Takes a nice bounce and is taken on about the 17. Right up the middle is Blood. He's showing good speed. And he's dragged down by Warner, but not until he gets to the Wooster 46-yard line. Number 21, Brad Warner, finally brought him down. Dirk Blood showed
me
outstanding speed.
That was the way it started at the beginning, John, remember?
Yes.
And that there, when you formed that wedge, somebody has sacrificed themselves to break that up in there.
5 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. Worcester defense been pretty stingy tonight. They've given up one touchdown, and that drive started on about the Worcester 22. But Matt Marshall is an excellent quarterback, and he gives it to his tailback, Hedrich, and he fumbled the ball. He fumbled the ball, and Worcester's got it. But they are going to say the whistle blew, and Worcester crowd does not like that. Boy, that was close. There is still a chorus of boos on that one. John Murphy pleading the case. He, of course, is one of the co-captains for the Generals. But at this point, he'll get nowhere. He better get ready to play defense. 2nd and 8. They give Hedrich 2 yards. There he goes again. This time he's got more room. And he's breaking down the sideline into the clear. Finally brought down by Mitch Leake, who fought off a block. And there's some ill feelings out there between these two clubs. That ball is inside the 20, spotted at about the 17-yard line. Nothing special on that play, Tony.
No.
Kind of an off-tackle play.
They got a good block in there, and Hendricks made the best of it.
So the Polar Bears marching down to try and get that score back. They give it to Hedrich again. He was hit by McLean, but he bounced off. Tony Lee rides him down. Mark McLean hit him at the line of scrimmage, but he did not throw his arms around him, and Hedrich, a good back, bounced right off him.
He certainly is. He showed some fine running. He doesn't look like that big of a young man either.
A lot of that running, though, was parallel, so it was only a gain. Well, it was a gain of about 4. I'd call it 2nd and a long 6. Ibach's behind Marshall, the quarterback. Dropping back. No, he gives it to Hedrich again, and this time he's dropped behind the line.
He does not get to the line of scrimmage that time. Number 60 at the bottom of that one.
Doug with a nice job from the inside linebacker position.
Along with 53, Andy Seifert.
Right before the end of the first half, Tony, the Worcester defense was called upon down here, and not only did they shut down Jackson, but they ended up giving the football back to the offense. Third down now, and there was a loss of about a yard on that. 3rd and 8. Marshall rolling out to the left. And he's being chased by Finicum, and he's got by Finicum. Nice job.
And he got back to about the line of scrimmage.
Brian is the kind of guy that gives you 110%, and he showed you that time. This is the third quarter, and he was looked like he was running the hard 100-yard dash, sprinting after Marshall. Oh, it looks like we're going to have a field goal attempt.
Well, Nyford showed that he could kick it when he kicked that extra point in that first quarter.
Let's see, if he could make this, it would close the gap to 12 to 10. Worcester, of course, will be watching to make sure that this is not a fake. It will be from the 29-yard line, so it'd be, what, about a 39-yard kick. High snap, but he gets it up. No, it's going to be no good.
And Worcester's defense, again, held up and did a fine job, John.
So with 2:30 remaining in the third quarter, Wooster has held on and have a 12-7 lead. And of course, on that missed field goal, Wooster will get the ball back on the 20-yard line. Here comes junior quarterback Matt McCoy, number 15, out to lead the Generals. This has been a very, very good ball game tonight. Now there's a whistle on the field. Timeout called by Jackson, and I'm a little confused as to why, Tony. This could be costly to Jackson. I don't really know the reason they called time.
Apparently they didn't have enough men on the field, John, and just didn't want to take a chance on it.
Tony, while we have a minute, we might mention again that tomorrow we will be going over to the College of Wooster to cover their opening game of the season against Mount Union College, and we certainly wish Coach Bob Tucker and the Fighting Scots the very best in this opening game.
Yes, and they're starting off with the cream of the High Athletic Conference last year, remember. And we're really looking forward to it. I remember last year we did 2 of their games, and they ended up winning both of them, John, so we're kind of hoping that maybe we are the good luck charm.
Tony, we should also mention that next Friday night we will have the Wooster New Philly game on at 11 p.m. But right now we're not worried about the Quakers at all. It's the Jackson Polar Bears. Wooster with the ball. 2:30 remaining here in the third quarter. I-backs behind Matt McCoy. And the give is to Tony Lee. He got just over the 20. Give him a yard on that carry. Number 49 on the bottom of the pile for the Jackson Polar Bears is Steve Costin. Steve is a 6'1", 210-pound senior. John Hayes, number 44, who made that interception, ran it back for a touchdown, comes in with the play. 2nd and 9. John Murphy, ooh.
And this time the counter didn't work.
He took some punishment there from number 46. That's Todd Morrow, a 5'10", 175-pound senior. They had that play smoked out. And it brings up about 3rd and 9. Again, let us mention that you can see the area scores every 15 minutes on the CATV 9 weekend scoreboard each weekend here on CATV 9. 3rd down, there was actually a loss of maybe a half a yard on that play. 3rd down and 9 for the Generals. Here's Murphy in motion to the bottom of your screen. The give to Birdno, and Brett did not get much. So once again, Wooster will be forced to punt, and we'll see the Wooster defense again. Clock is down to 46 seconds and running, remaining here in the third quarter. We've got Benson and Marshall back. That, by the way, is Aaron Marshall, number 6. Benson is number 88. This is a low-line drive kick taken by Benson. He almost fumbled it. Now moves ahead very nicely, breaking some tackles just inside the 40. And it was number 88 of the Generals, which would be Mike Hughes, making the tackle.
Aaron Marshall, Matt Marshall, John, we just heard our brothers.
So the Polar Bears come out of that with good field position. That ball is resting just inside Wooster's 40-yard line. I-backs behind Matt Marshall. Long count. They give to the fullback. Up the middle, nothing doing. You can see Finicum reaching on top. Glasgow's there. Tony Lee's there. And Tony, that is the end of 3. So with our score, Wooster 12 and Jackson 7, we will take a break and be right back.
This choice strip steak dinner or this great tasting chicken dinner. These and many more delicious dinners are available from Degler's Restaurant on Lincoln Way east of Wooster. In this commercial, we decided to show you how good the food actually looks, not use still photos of dinners like some places. At Degler's Restaurant, these are just a few of the great dinners and sandwiches waiting for you. Stop by Degler's Restaurant in the Wayne Lanes Plaza. Attention, Wayne County. If you're searching for top-quality furniture priced right, search no further than Ettinger's Furniture in the Heck Shopping Plaza. From recliners to living room sets, furniture for the bedroom or the dining room, Ettinger's Furniture has a large selection to choose from. And with financing available, owning new furniture from Ettinger's is oh so easy. This is top-quality, well-built furniture that will look great in any home. Stop by Ettinger's Furniture in the Heck Shopping Plaza on Lincoln Way East, Wooster.
Defensive coordinator Gary Green, who's been out on the field with his Wooster defense, the nasty defense. All of the generals, perhaps you can see when we move in, are wearing nasty towels on the belt of their uniform. And I believe those were courtesy of the Wooster Generals Mothers group, which has given an awful lot of support to the team over the past few years. 2nd and 9 for the Polar Bears. And they've got a reverse. They've got blood. He's going to throw. He's got a man out there, Benton. And he dropped the ball. Hayes made a fantastic play. And Hayes is hurt. I hope it's just a cramp, Tony. John Hayes made a nice recovery to get back and play
Certainly
defense.
Did. The ball was thrown a little under. I believe Blood threw that ball, number 16.
Yes, he did.
John Hayes got back just in time. And he put his hands on where John just knocked it out.
Trainer Bob Platt, who is in that gold jacket, is out there along with John Murphy. We might mention John Hayes is going both ways tonight. He is a flanker offensively, defensive halfback, and also has been rotating in the plays. He's been a messenger. So even though it is a cool night, he's probably run a couple of miles, and the old legs are telling him they're a little fatigued. Tony, we have enjoyed certainly tonight in the 3 ball games, the finest one of the season between these two clubs, and regardless of the outcome, this is something that we might share is probably what football fans here in the Worcester area are going to be enjoying on a regular basis in 2 years when Worcester gets into the Federal League. John Hayes coming off under his own power, limping slightly. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get back into the ball game. Just into the 4th and final quarter of action. While we have a second, let us remind you to support the Worcester Music Boosters by visiting the concession stands at the Worcester home football games. Proceeds from the concession sales support the Worcester High School music programs. And, of course, in addition to food, the Music Boosters this year is selling Worcester General watches for only $7. 3rd and 9 for the Polar Bears, just inside the Generals' 40. An important play. Marshall dropping straight back to pass. He's got pressure. He throws it over the middle to a wide-open Blood. Blood eludes a couple tackles down the sideline. Vitero makes the tackle, but there is a flag at the line of scrimmage. Marshall took a pretty good shot as he let the ball go, but I don't think that's where the flag is. I think it's on the line of scrimmage, Tony.
Flag was at the line of scrimmage. I believe there was holding.
The call is holding against the Polar Bears, and that is the costliest penalty to date. That negated a super play, and Marshall again stood in there until the very last minute before he let that ball go. They are marching the penalty off. And while they do, let us talk about starting the school year with a new Worcester Generals watch for only $7. They are available at the Worcester Music Booster concession stand at all home football games. Or if you can't make it down here, you can call 264-2674, 345-8114, or Worcester High School at 264-9948. It is 3rd down and 25. High backs behind Marshall. And Marshall goes down the line. They pitch it to Hedrich, who makes a nice recovery after he bobbled the ball. He gets a little bit of it back over the 50. But it's going to be fourth and close to 20. It was number 18, Matt Smith, from his outside linebacker spot, who forced Hedrick out of the boundary line. John Murphy going back along with Mitch Sleek and also number 41.
Doug Snyder, number 41.
Yes. The kick is over towards the sidelines, out of bounds. We'll have to wait and see where they spot it. Where are they going to mark it? Right at the 25-yard line. So with 11:27, Wooster gets the ball back again. While we have this change of possession, we'll take time out and be right back.
As you're watching the great sports action, wouldn't a pizza like this one taste great? Then call 264-0571 for the Pizza Bowl and let them bring a pizza, sandwich, or any great menu item right to your door. They offer free delivery and are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Remember the pizza that we just showed you? The Pizza Bowl is waiting to make yours. Call 264-0571 for Degler's Restaurant and the Pizza Bowl. They have the food you're craving for. No gimmicks, no giveaways, just honest savings every day of the year. That's what you'll find at Mott's Decorating, 4188 Cleveland Road, Worcester. Mott's Decorating is serious about quality, and you should be too. At Mott's Decorating, they want happy and satisfied customers. That's why quality is spelled with a capital Q. Mott's Decorating, one-stop decorating for all of your vinyl floor, carpet, paint, wall covering, and now new at Mott's Decorating, area rugs. Stop by Mott's Decorating, Cleveland Road, Worcester.
Matt McCoy, number 15, comes in to lead the Generals. Mitch Lee comes to the bottom of your screen. And Murphy's on the wing. They give it to John Murphy, trying to sweep to the top of your picture. He gets away from one man, and boy, he just wouldn't go down. What a bulldog.
And he's got about good 2 or 3 yards in there, John.
On second effort, as Tony indicates, he's got about 3. John has had how many carries tonight?
4. This is his 3rd carry.
Worcester, of course, would like to keep the ball on the ground with the lead and also to eat up the clock. And I told you I thought John Hayes would be back, and there he is bringing in the play. So it was not serious. It looked to me to be a leg cramp. He is to the top of your screen. John Murphy to the bottom. I-backs this time behind Matt McCoy. Matt dropping back to pass, and he's not going to get it away. Looked like number 53 defensively, and that would be John Neidert, who does the kicking for the Polar Bears. Dumped Matt McCoy back for about a 5-yard loss, bringing up 3rd down and about 15. Clock continuing to run. It's down to 10 minutes and 10 seconds. Sleek to the bottom of your screen. Murphy to the top. Murphy now in motion to the bottom of your screen. McCoy goes back to pass again. It's a screen over the middle to John Murphy. Murphy's got the first down, and Morey's still on his feet. John Murphy crossed the 50 down to about the 43-yard line. What a run by that young man.
Fine play. That worked in the first quarter, too, John, if you remember.
He's hurt. John Murphy is hurt. And I hope it's just a leg cramp again. Yes, it looks to be. We've got 9:44 and we've got a timeout on the field, but John is getting up, and it looks to be just a leg cramp. Get the fellowship hand clap from Matt McCoy.
That was a fine 38-yard play, John.
And now we have timeout on the field for the Generals. Let us remind you again tonight, Friday night, September 12th, what the other area teams are doing. We've got Triway at Waynedale in a game that both teams would like to win. Both have started out 0-2. Smithville goes up to Northwest Ohio to play Woodmore. Smithville also looking for win number 1. And Orville is at Copley. So while we have this break in the action and the score, Wooster 12, Jackson 7, 9:44 on the clock. Let's take a timeout.
Like Back to the Future and Return of the Jedi in the comfort of your own home. Just stop by Dino's Home Movies in Wooster and Smithville. With over 1,800 movies to choose from, Dino's has the movie you're looking for no matter what kind. And if you don't have a VCR, rent one from Dino's Home Movies at the foot of Bell Avenue in downtown Worcester and on Main Street in Smithville. It's Dino's Home Movies, open 7 days a week.
Edinger's Furniture has bedroom sets. Fine craftsmanship by fine names like Burlington and Impact. At Edinger's, you'll find dining room furniture, a large selection priced to fit your pocketbook. Take a look at this 3-piece living room set. Edinger's Furniture specializes in top-quality, well-built furniture that looks good in any home. They also carry mobile home supplies like replacement doors and plastic pipe. Edinger's Furniture in the Heck Shopping Center on Lincoln Way East in Worcester. Stop by today.
There you have a shot of some of the band members trying to add a little bit of drum beat to enthusiasm to this Wooster drive. Coach McFarland out on the field trying to boost his club, get that spirit up, hoping to eat up as much the clock along with maybe put some additional points on the board. Birdno up the middle. He got 2 or 3 tough yards.
3 yards.
Right around his ankles. We'll wait and see who that is. Number 49, Steve Costin, 6'1", 210 senior. Steve looks to be calling the defensive signals for Jackson tonight.
Right now I see we have Doug Snyder in place of John Murphy. He and number 42, I think that's Vitello, are the messenger boys, and John Hayes is staying in the game.
Yes, they're still working with John Murphy on the sidelines. John Hayes is also out. McCoy dropping back to pass, got time. He runs out of time, but he gets the pass off to Birdno down the sidelines. Birdno down to the 25-yard line.
Fine pass. And here again, you talk about poise by quarterback.
Yes.
He was ready to be nailed back there, and he just kept his cool and just dumped the ball off the last possible second.
Amen. Matt McCoy is really coming of age tonight, isn't he?
He certainly has. He's really matured in the last 2 weeks.
The clock at 8:55 and running. And as you indicated, number 41, Tony, and that is Doug Snyder bringing in the play. He'll be to the top of your screen. On the wing is Mitch Sleek. The give is to Tony Lee, sweeping, and Tony's down at about the 25-yard line. Or excuse me, 20-yard line.
When Tony goes to make his cut, it seems like he's ready to fall down, and he's running at a low level there.
His plant foot seems to perhaps slip. I don't know. You're right, though. He's stumbling
maybe
a little
we're
bit.
spoiled. We're used to the balance of one win last year, John.
Well, now that could be, too.
And Tony's got to play his game. He can't play one.
Jim Vitero, number 42, being called into service, along with Doug Snyder, messenger guards. On a 2nd and about 6, Matt McCoy with the ball, and he really wrestles his way.
And he's got a first down.
About the 14.
He's got a first down.
Very important. As Tony indicated, first down.
That was
the clock
a fine
keeps running.
fake by young Matt McCoy. Everybody went after the tailback. And you're getting some fine blocking in the center of that line, John. We don't give enough credit to those 7 men up front there. They're the ones doing the blocking.
They are really looking fresh here in the 4th quarter, while Jackson looks just maybe a hair tired out there.
Well, when you get this late in the game, John, you're behind.
It is first and 10 for the Generals. The ball goes to Birdno. Second effort, third effort. He still can't go any place, and they're going to whistle him dead.
And no gain, but it's right there.
It almost looked like he might have broken free on his second and third effort, but Jackson gave the big bear hug and wouldn't let go. Ball resting just inside the 15-yard line. Here comes Steve Cooper and Jim Vatero into the lineup for the Generals. Corey Hutt, number 62, who had been in at a guard, is going out. Again, let us remind you, number 55, Eric Houston, is at center tonight. Brian Finnegan getting a rest, playing just strictly defense. And there was a miscommunication. Matt McCoy very alertly moves forward, but it was a costly error because it will bring up third and about 9 for the Generals. I think there was a mix-up really in the snap count.
I think the center snapped it ahead of the count there because nobody moved.
Third and 9. The ball just inside the 15-yard line. Fox is at 6:15. Our score, Wooster 12, Jackson 7. In motion, Mitch Sleek. The handoff to Tony Lee to the weak side. Tony inside the 10. And finally down at about the 7. It is shy of the first down.
Shy of the first down. They've got about 3 yards to go for a first down.
A good 3.
And we're going to try a field goal here.
A 3-point field goal would make the score 15-7 if it would be successful. Denny Shear, number 45, will be doing the kicking.
Denny Shear will attempt the
Mitch Sleek, number 90, will be doing the holding. The snap is down, the kick is up.
Looks good.
It is good.
It is good.
It is good. Wooster does go up by a score of 15-7. Denny Shear has to be a very happy young man at this point.
Certainly does. This game is far from over, though, John. While we're basking in a moment of glory right now, a touchdown and a 2-point conversion is going to tie this thing up.
With our score, Wooster 15 and Jackson 7, 5:10 left on the clock. We will take time out and be right back.
Hi, I'm Tom Lyons, Performance Pontiac Olds GMC Trucks, 1363 Lincoln Way West, Wooster. Stop and see me. Take advantage of our low financing, dependable vehicles, and courteous service. That's Tom Lyons, Performance Pontiac Olds GMC Trucks, your complete transportation center.
Hi, I'm Dennis Hopkins, but most people call me Hop. I'm a junior guard on the Ohio State basketball team. It's taken a lot of hard work to get where I am today, but that didn't leave time for drugs or alcohol. Not everybody can play basketball like I do, but everybody can work hard to be all they can be. And drugs and alcohol stop you from being all you can be. So find something you enjoy and throw yourself into it. You'll get a high that will last for life.
There you see the Worcester kickoff team talking it over. Denny Shear, who has just been successful on his first field goal of the season and has given Worcester a little breathing room, although, Tony, your math was correct. 1 touchdown and a 2-point conversion would tie this ball game.
They've had good runbacks on the kickoff. Number 16, Mr. Blood back there.
5:10 left on the clock. There's the whistle. Shear kicks it short off to the side, squib kick, and it is finally picked up on about the 25, and it's brought back to about the 31. I see number 90, Mitch Leak of Bo Steiner, 96. 45, the kicker, Denny Shear. Tempers are beginning to get a little short out there, too, Tony.
As I say, when you get this late in the ball game and you're behind, and I'll tell you, things just don't seem to be going right for you. it's very easily to do, to lose your cool a little bit here.
Well, there's the Wooster cheerleaders up there. Again, let us say how much they mean to the team in terms of spirit. The poised senior quarterback, Matt Marshall, comes on. I-backs behind him. And he's going to roll out and pass on the first play. Looking downfield, it is complete. The receiver, number 35.
Matt Marshall's pass complete to Chris.
That's a first down.
Kessler.
First down, Polar Bears. On their own 44.
And as I say, this is a cool cookie, this Matt Marshall.
He certainly is.
On the stop for the Generals.
Matt McCoy comes in defensively for Wooster as Wooster looks for a little bit more passing. Jackson out of the huddle very quickly. They know the clock is running against them. They give it to the tailback who spins to the outside. Nice tackle. Oh, Matt Smith, big play.
Matt Smith, fine play by Matt Smith.
That could have been a big gainer. Matt Smith with a nice open field tackle holds that to a yard gain. Call it 2nd and 9. Here comes Tony
This Mark
Lee.
Hedrick, John, has really impressed me. He's a fine runner. He has control of himself all the way through.
Mark is the tailback tonight for the Polar Bears. 2nd and 9. Marshall rolling out, looking downfield. It is complete, and nice tackle out there by, was that Smith again?
That's Smith again. He gave him 4 yards, and that was it.
It'll bring up 3rd and 5. Tony Lee getting a workout, just running out and in and out defensively. McCoy back in on that nickel type of defense. Marshall's got split backs. They've usually passed from this formation tonight. Looking, throws a look-in pass. It's behind, it's intercepted. John Murphy decided to fall down. I think he honestly did.
I think he didn't know which way to go, and he just slipped, and he just stayed there, John.
Well, it's still a big play for the Generals with 3:16 left on the clock. Worcester gets the ball back. I think blood, it went off his hands, didn't it?
I was thrown behind him. Thrown right into John Murphy's hands. In fact, I don't think John Murphy realized he had it till he ran a couple steps.
Worcester 1st and 10. That ball is on the 42-yard line of the Generals. The give is to Tony Lee. Oh, did he take a shot? Whew.
Knocked down in there by Dave Swagger.
Snyder on the tackle defensively for the Polar Bears. There is a gain of about half a yard on that one at most. This has certainly been a hard-hitting ball game tonight. Jim Viterro comes in with the play. John Hayes is coming out. 2nd down and 9.5 for the Generals. Matt McCoy pitches it to Tony Lee. Tony finds some good yardage and gets out right close to midfield.
And he gets out to the 50-yard line, right to center field, right in the center of the
Right
field.
around midfield, Tony, yes. 49 on the stop is Steve Costin. And it looks like Jackson wants timeout. Again, let us remind you, next week we'll be covering the Worcester General New Philadelphia Quaker game. And you can see it right here on Cable TV 9 at 11 p.m. And again, let's mention the fact that you can catch the area scores every 15 minutes on CATV 9 Weekend Scoreboard each weekend right here on CATV 9. There are the Worcester cheerleaders exhorting their team to hold that lead with 2:06 on the clock. It is a 3rd and 4 yards. An important play for the Generals, Tony. If they can get a first down here, they may be able to run out the clock.
I believe at the most, Jackson has 1 timeout left. If Worcester can get a first down here, they can run the clock out. We've got 2 minutes and 6 seconds?
Well, Matt Marshall really worries me. I would like to keep that ball out of his hands on the offense. So this, to me, is a very important play in the game. Worcester's already out of the huddle. McCoy, Tony Lee off right tackle, fighting. He's got the first down.
His first down.
He's got it. There's 11 yellow jerseys after him, but he's got the first down. And let's give the credit where credit's due. Tony Lee did a nice running job, but that offensive line blew
really
out off the line.
Forward. They certainly did.
That ball is just inside the 45-yard line. We're under 2 minutes now. Clock's down to 1:50. Here comes Jim Bottero in with the play. Worcester's going to have to hurry to get this play off so they don't get delay a game called. Birdno and Lee behind McCoy. McCoy quarterback sneak. He's got good yardage.
5 yards.
Quarterback sneak gets to the 39-yard line.
That's what can happen to you if you're going to key on Tony Lee.
1:22 remaining.
Certainly is, and I believe this will be the last time out.
The clock is stopped at 1:22, Tone.
About a quarterback, John, you mentioned it when you couldn't figure out why Jackson took a timeout. I think there was a misalignment on their defense, and I think that's going to be conquering out to them because this will be the last time they'll be able to stop the clock.
Jackson has no timeouts left.
Tony, you can see we've gotten up there on our screen that each Wednesday night before the College of Wooster home game, you can see Timeout with Tucker at 6 p.m. right here on CATV 9, and that is hosted by John Finn, the Sports Information Director at the College of Wooster, who has been so helpful to us in providing us with stats, just first-class hospitality up there at the college.
It certainly is, and we're sure looking forward to doing it. I believe we've got 5 games we were going to do for them, all the home games, aren't we?
Yes. And also, while we're handing out a round of applause, let's thank Fritz Rabb and the staff here at Wooster High School for their hospitality and all the things they do for us. Clock at 1:22. It is second down and a long 5. McCoy, another quarterback sneak, and he got maybe a yard or two. John Murphy over there very quickly to peel off the defensive back, number 45, Bill Peel. No pun intended there, by the way.
No. We've got to like to congratulate Gary Green and his defensive coaching staff. They've done a fine job. They've stopped this team cold tonight, John. So we said the only time that they did score was on a misplay by General.
Tony, I didn't really want to get into it before the game, but the Akron paper, I think, had Worcester going down to defeat something like 28-7.
That's how much newspapers know, huh?
McCoy, yes. McCoy gets the first down, I think. And the clock's at 35 seconds. I think the Generals are figuring they may not have to run another play.
They will. They've got, 25 seconds. And once that clock starts,
a first down.
They got one more play to run.
They are saying, let's get this clock moving. It's down to 33. And you're right, Tony. Worcester will run one more play. And I'm sure that will be another keeper by the quarterback, Matt McCoy. If you possibly don't know the score, it is 15-7. Worcester on top. McCoy drops down. He is covered over there by Birdno. The clock is at 13-12.
Steve Finicum, the son of Harry Thomas. At this time, I want the homecoming court. Junior attendant Laura Carter. Laura is the daughter of Harry and Alita Carter. She is a member of the varsity volleyball team and the varsity softball team. Laura plans to attend college and study business. Escorting Laura is Brad Allen. Junior attendant Mary Hooker. Mary is the daughter of Bob and Elizabeth Hooker. She is a varsity swimmer and a varsity volleyball player. Mary is also a member and a thespian. Graduating in the college. Mary is escorted by Brian